Raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this cause will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Please have a seat. Ms. Jip, did you want to keep the exhibit there for this witness?
I think it might be helpful.
Okay. Ma'am, if you could tell us your full name and spell your last.
My name is Cody Jean Wilson. My last name is spelled W-I-L-S-O-N.
Thank you, Ms. Jip.
And Ms. Wilson, I'm going to start by just asking a question so we can kind of help explain some of the breathing issues. Do you suffer from any medical conditions?
Yes, I still have to have surgery. The reason why I haven't had surgery
Well,
is...
I'm gonna, in terms that would affect your breathing. I
Oh,
apologize.
yes, I have COPD.
You have COPD?
Yes,
So does that make it sometimes difficult for you to kind of catch your breath?
yes, very difficult.
Okay, thank you. We'll get to the other medical issues here shortly. On September 9th of 2022, where were you living?
Michigan.
And Gobles, Michigan, so that's Van Buren County?
Yes,
Okay. And did you happen to see that evening Tabitha Howard?
yes.
Okay. And if you could just identify Tabitha Howard for the court.
She's right there.
In a cream-colored jacket?
Yes, with glasses.
Okay. So now I'm just going to back up a second. And could you tell me, from your perspective, what started the evening of September 9th that upset you?
My daughter called me and said that Josh Roy and Dave Beatty was racing through the yard really fast, which Josh, for a fact, was under the influence of methamphetamines and alcohol. Kind of feeling like Dave was under the influence of methamphetamines, considering that he's never acted that way before.
Speculation.
There's an objection. One moment. What's the objection?
Speculation. She doesn't have personal knowledge either.
I'll sustain that objection.
Thank you. So they were acting, at least Dave and Josh were acting in a way outside of their typical character?
Yes, very much so.
Okay. Were you concerned for your daughter or your grandchildren's
My
safety?
grandchildren.
Okay. Well, about what time were you made aware of this on September 9th?
It was probably about to get dark.
Okay, so later evening.
Yeah.
Okay, so she calls you, and then did you go to the property, or what did you do in response?
Started running.
We're getting the leading again.
Okay. There is a bit of bleeding going on, so I'll sustain that.
Okay, thank you. You received this phone call, that's what you just testified to, correct? Okay, so what was the next step? What did you do?
Ran up the hill to my daughter.
Okay. Was anyone else with you?
Not at the time, no, I ran up by myself, holding my grandson's hand.
Okay, so you went up there with your grandson? Okay. Why did you take your grandson?
Because normally stuff like that don't happen up there from
Okay.
Dave.
So what was your thought process of how the situation would resolve?
Go up there and talk about it like we normally would have any other time. Probably about, let's see, 4 months prior to that. 5 months, 6 months at the most. We would have talked about it. We never would have ever gone this far with it.
Okay. So how long had you lived on this piece of property?
I have known Dave Beatty since I have lived on and off this property since I was 9 years old, 1989.
Okay. How long have you lived on the property with your husband, Matt?
On and off, 17 years.
Okay, okay. And so your history, if I'm to understand you, with Dave is that you can talk through things? Is that?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
forever and a day.
Okay, so when you're there with Elijah, how does that interaction go?
Elijah was taken from an adult and taken home, and I just recall a bunch of screaming and yelling and fighting and
Okay.
sitting on a log, and my husband telling me to come on. And
Okay, at the time that you were up near your daughter's property, who all was engaged in the screaming and fighting?
Leading, getting meetings, whatever.
I'll overrule that objection. I don't think this is leading.
Everybody.
Everybody, and who from your memory was present there for this yelling kind of match?
Oh my goodness gracious. Me, Dave, Josh disappeared for some reason. I didn't see my husband until like he was telling me to come on, let's go home. Tabby came up after the fact. My daughter's boyfriend Josh, when him and Dave were arguing, God, and then a bunch of ambulance and cops and,
Okay. So at the point that you all are arguing about the reckless driving, you did not come to that piece of property with your husband?
no, I came up before my husband.
Okay, and then he followed, I'm assuming?
I assume he showed up there sometime or another. I was the first one up there.
Okay. Did you witness an altercation between your husband Matt and Dave?
Arguing, that's about it.
Okay.
I was trying to catch my breath, so I wasn't really, by the time I get up there and I'm done yelling, I'm no good for nothing. I'm heeled over like this, trying to catch my breath.
Okay. So your son Logan comes to the scene?
I guess he was there like 3 different times, from what I heard. I only remember seeing him at the back of the ambulance when I was going in the ambulance, and then coming to the hospital when I was done. That's all I remember seeing him.
Okay, so you didn't have a conversation with him?
Not that I can remember.
Okay.
Not a conversation that I carried on. Not nowhere up the hill, no, not at all.
Okay. So when you said you were kind of yelling and then had to catch your breath, how close were you at this point to Tabitha and Dave?
Oh God, I was standing, so the driveway is like a,
And I don't know if it helps to kind of talk in reference to the map here. I try to get that picture.
so I'm standing at the bushes right where it comes in and turns into the universe, or the horseshoe. So it's right there at the very top where there's bushes right there. So I'm standing right in front of those bushes right there.
Okay.
And Dave is probably out by the tree that got tore down.
So for me.
And Tabby's behind him.
You know, can you give us kind of an estimate of distance? Couple car lengths? Anything?
I'd say maybe a good 20, 25 feet.
Okay, 20 to 25 feet.
Mm-hmm. From Dave.
From Dave.
From Dave.
How close were you in relation to Tabitha?
She was behind Dave, a little bit behind Dave. Not far, far behind Dave, about like that far behind Dave.
Okay. Do you remember her being in her car or standing up or something else?
I just remember her sitting in her car.
Okay.
I don't remember her getting out of her car.
Okay, okay. Did you exchange heated words with Tabby?
Just for a second. Not much.
Okay,
Nothing majorly big.
okay. And so then what happened next?
I sat down on the log. My husband said, come on, let's go home, shut up, quit running your mouth, blah, blah, blah. And I kept running my mouth, and then we walked down to home. I finally listened to him, and then next thing you know, it was all quiet and dark, you know, we're walking, and then all of a sudden, Tabby whips down in her white car. And so when she whips down, I'm walking in the drive, so I move off to the side, and I smack. Well, I find something to pick up, because, you know, I'm thinking she's gonna hit me or something, I don't know. And so I just smacked the white part of the car, and then she jumps out and says, "You're gonna keep running your mouth, Cody," and wham, hit me right in the head with that pole.
Okay,
And she never stopped.
okay. So let me stop you for 2 seconds. You kind of indicated you got out of the way. If
Yeah.
you had not moved, do you believe she would have hit you
Oh,
with that vehicle?
definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
So you were walking on the road and then had to jump into the grass, or
Yes.
something else?
Jump into the grass. Move
Okay.
over to the grass. Not like jump, but move over.
How
To
would
the
you
grass.
describe her driving in the driveway?
Probably just a little bit faster than what you normally should when you whip in a driveway.
Okay,
I don't know why she even came down that driveway.
okay. So you were walking, does this seem like a pretty decent guesstimation of where your
Yep,
driveway is?
Yep.
So you were walking down, how long were you walking down that driveway before Tabby pulls up, or kind of comes towards you with her vehicle?
a good couple, 2-3 minutes at the most.
Okay,
Everybody was gone. Everything was dark. Everybody was inside doing their own thing. Dave drove off down his little drive to go back to their camper, and she came our way.
okay. We heard some testimony about where Dave lived. Did Tabitha live with Dave?
Yeah, they've been together since probably about the end of April of last year.
Okay, and so he lives, I don't know if you can see this, but he lives about this area?
Yeah, he was living out in that area.
Okay, so when you say he went off to go home, he went this way?
Yep, that's the drive that he always takes.
And she instead came back this way?
Yep.
Now, is that a way that Dave would sometimes use to get to his property?
Maybe sometimes, not very often. I mean, I would think that she would take the same way as Dave if she was frightened for her life. I wouldn't think she would come my way and jump out with a pole and start whacking me and whacking me and whacking me and not stop whacking me.
When she came at you with the car, were you on the passenger side walking on the road or on the driver's side?
I was probably around more towards the driver's side.
More towards the driver's side?
Yeah.
So then you jump off
Yeah,
to the left side of the road,
yep.
and she
To where
stops
Prince
kind of
is.
even with you?
Ish, yeah.
Okay.
Just a little bit. I was like right here. The door opened about right here.
Okay. Now, let me ask you, you said you were kind of looking for something. Help me unpack that. What do you mean by she's coming at you and you said you kind of were looking for something?
Yeah, I was kind of looking for something to grab to maybe if I threw something at the car, it would stop her, but,
Were you worried she was going to keep trying to drive over you, or?
well, yeah. I mean, I don't know why she would even be driving down that drive.
Okay. And so, at any point during this, do you throw a rock at her vehicle?
No,
or-
there's no rock to throw. It just got asphalt. There's nothing there to throw.
Okay.
That's why I smacked it with my hand.
Okay, so you smacked the car with a hand.
Yep, the plastic part of the car by the door.
Okay. And that's what led her to throw it into park? Or, I mean, I guess you can't speculate. Right after you smacked it, is that when she threw it into park?
She was basically getting out of the car just as I was smacking the car,
Okay.
and already had the pole in her hand. She had to have because she hit me that fast an hour.
Okay. At the time, did you know what you were being hit with?
No, absolutely not. I did not know until the very end of time.
Okay, so the first blow hit you where?
Right here.
Okay, on your scalp?
Yep, right there.
Okay. What happened after she hit you that first time?
I like grabbed her and flung her, and I flew on top of her, and we were fighting. And the whole time we were fighting and I was hitting her, she was hitting me in the face with a pole and in the head nonstop.
Okay.
If my husband wouldn't have pulled us apart, I don't know if I'd even be alive today.
Okay. So she hits you with a pipe and you throw her. did you feel that that movement was in self-defense, or were you just angry, or what was your mental state?
Self-defense. I mean, definitely self-defense. I got hit in the head with a pole.
Okay. Do you know how many additional times she hit you with this pole and this pipe?
I wasn't counting.
Okay.
I was just hoping that I'd make it out alive.
Okay. So what ended this altercation?
My husband breaking us up and I going over to her and
Okay, so you say your husband breaking this up. How was that done? Did he just, hey guys, stop?
no,
Or-
he pulled me away from her because he thought he had her, because I had to roll off of her and let him know, because he just stood there and let us fight, because he didn't know. And I rolled off of her and said, she's hitting me in the face with something. And he heard it and he pulled my leg and pulled me away, and she got me one last time right here.
Across your nose?
Yep, right here where I have to have surgery.
Okay. So then he's able to pull her off. Do you see any of the physical altercation happen between Tabby and Matt?
When she gets up, she tries to hit him with the pole, and he blocks it, and he grabs her. And by then, I go over, and I'm sitting down because I have tons of blood leaking out of me, and I'm queasy, and I feel like I'm gonna faint. So I sit down, and then I hear sirens.
Okay, I'm gonna show you some photographs. I'm gonna show you what's been preliminarily marked as People's Exhibit 2. If you can just take a second to take a look at this. To the best of your knowledge, does this photograph accurately depict your physical state on September 9th after being hit in the face with a pipe?
Yeah,
Have you in any way altered this image?
I've never seen it.
Okay. Did you see yourself that evening? Didn't see yourself that evening? Okay.
No, they wouldn't let me.
Okay. Your Honor, at this point, I'd move to admit People's Exhibit 2 and publish to the jury.
Any objection?
Did she recognize the photo?
She recognized that she'd been hit in the face with a pipe. If I need to admit it through Trooper Dyer, I can.
I have no objection.
No objection? Okay, court will receive Exhibit 2.
Okay. And I'll publish pictures to the jury here in a moment, Your Honor. So you sit down, you are all, what happens? How do you get medical treatment?
I just seen, there was just ambulance right there, right in my face. I was just like, I was like, do I have to go to the hospital? He's like, yeah, you have to go to the hospital. So I went to the hospital and
Okay.
they did x-rays and all that stuff and stitches and staples, and
Okay.
then
Do
my
you-
brother was attacked, so my brother's about ready to die, so I've been very busy.
Okay. So you went to Allegan General Hospital or Bronson? Allegan? Okay. I'm going to show you two other images preliminarily marked as People's Exhibit 3 and 4. Did you speak to an officer that evening
Yes, I did.
at the hospital?
Yes. I believe I spoke to him once at the incident, but not for very long. He said he would be at the hospital.
Okay. Do you remember him taking photographs of your face at the hospital, of your
Yes.
injuries?
Yes.
Okay. Do these accurately reflect your injuries on the evening of September 9th,
I
2022?
had more injuries than that.
Okay. What additional injuries did you have besides the laceration across your nose
I had
and
a whole
your scalp?
bunch on the back of my head right here, like a whole ton of them right here, all over my head.
A whole ton of what?
Lacerations all over my head.
Okay. Your Honor, we would move to admit People's Exhibit 3 and 4.
Any objection?
No objection.
We'll receive 3 and 4.
Permission to publish to the jury?
You may.
Staples. They gave me like 7 staples, I believe.
Okay, and then what about for your nose?
I can't remember how many stitches.
Now, you indicated, that you need surgery for your nose?
Yes, they got to remove a blood clot that's stuck right here.
And is that a direct result of this assault?
Yes, yes.
Okay, you didn't have that as a pre-existing
No.
issue? Okay. When this incident occurred, you were on your property, correct?
Yes,
Okay, and you also have a fence on that property?
yes.
Okay. Through the course of the assault, was any property damaged?
Not really, no.
Okay. Did you all end up fighting and moving and going through any sort of barriers?
Well, we went through the fence, but it was an old fence and it was,
Okay.
yeah.
So I'm gonna now show you what's been preliminarily marked, and I'm doing them as one exhibit because it's just 2 different shots of the same fence portion. And it's been preliminarily marked as People's Exhibit 5. 2 photos of the fence. I'm going to show you 2 photographs here. Are these pictures of the fence on your property?
Yeah.
Specifically the fence where you all had this, where the assault took place?
Yeah, but I definitely don't believe we did all of that.
Okay.
I think we basically went through there because for some reason we landed like through I don't know, it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you haven't altered these pictures, and they seem to accurately depict the fence on the evening of the assault.
I know that somebody broke one part of the fence.
Prior to September 9th?
Yes, in the
Okay.
wintertime.
So on September 9th, this is an accurate depiction of the fence?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. We would move to admit People's Exhibit. I'm lost track of
All
number
right.
5. Permission to publish to the jury.
Any objection to receiving Exhibit 5?
No objection.
Okay, received and you may publish.
Thank you. And so just to be clear, you're indicating that where you think you broke through would be where these 2 pieces are?
Yeah, yeah,
And this would then be a close-up of that image?
yes.
Thank you. I'm going to mark the bag as People's Exhibit 6. And I'm going to show you what's been preliminarily marked as People's Exhibit 6. What is this?
Looks like a jackhander to a small jack.
Is this the weapon that you were hit with on September 9th?
I believe so.
Okay. Move to admit People's Exhibit 6.
Any objection?
No objection.
Court will receive Exhibit 6.
Could you describe your relationship with Tabby prior to this incident?
Me and Tabby's always had a good relationship. Me and Tabby's never had an argument a day since I've known her. I've known Tabby for probably 26, 27 years.
Okay. Were you expecting to be attacked that evening?
No,
Okay.
not at all.
I have no further questions at this time.
Ms. Weeche?
All right. Back on September 9th, 2022, you were on this plot of land, correct?
I was.
You
on
were on the plot of land, I called compound, but you were present?
Yes.
Okay. And ultimately, I guess you introduced yourself, or you became present to this altercation, so to speak, after somebody called you?
Yes, my daughter, who
Your daughter?
lives in the bigger house up on that hill.
And she called you because of a verbal altercation, or?
No, because of the way people were driving reckless through her driveway and through the yard, over by where her children sleep, and it's just inappropriate for people to be acting that way, especially with all the children that's there. My daughter has 4 children.
If you know, was this phone call to you from Tristan before or after the argument with Josh and David?
I don't know about an argument with Josh and David.
Okay. And your testimony was that you arrived to that initial location alone, with Elijah?
Yes.
Okay. Not with Matt?
No.
Okay. Do you know where Matt was at that time?
No. I darted out the door.
You,
I darted out the door. I
Okay.
didn't even think twice. I just darted out. My daughter called and said, "Mom, I really need your help. Dave and Josh are driving crazy." Swearing. She was swearing, and I went up there immediately because I have 4 grandchildren that live up there. The whole case of the situation was a mess from the whole time. Just didn't want anybody fighting. It was just a bunch of drama that didn't need to be happening. It could have been
Can you
handled.
move that microphone a little closer? Thank you.
Yes, sorry.
That's okay.
So at that point in time, as you darted out the door, your intention was to address the reckless driving?
No, my intention was to go up there and make sure that my daughter was okay and she was getting her children in the home where they belonged. There was not much I could do about the reckless driving except for talk calmly and ask if it could be done in a different way. But instead, Dave was on one and wanted to say it was his yard and to suck his and get off his land. So it just escalated from there.
So you were talking calmly at that point in time?
I went up there and was talking calmly with my daughter, getting my daughter inside, asking what was going on. I mean, who would be very calm when you have people that are under the influence driving like maniacs in a driveway and through a yard where there's children, trampolines, toy houses. I mean, you just don't do that. It's
So-
private property. If I called the cops, what's going to be done? We
So-
tried to handle it in a physical or in a adult manner, but it didn't turn out that way.
So you were concerned about the grandkids, so you darted out the door with another grandkid
Yeah, most certainly did.
to go to that,
Yes, I did.
and you arrive and things that they escalate?
Yeah.
Who was the one escalating the situation?
Dave Beatty and Josh Roy.
Okay. And you responded calmly.
Probably not as calm as what I should have, but a lot calmer than what they were. I wasn't telling nobody to do nasty things to me.
Were you talking smack?
What do you mean talking smack?
Well, running your mouth. Were
Who
you running your
wasn't?
mouth?
Who wasn't running their mouth?
Were you running your mouth or talking smack to or toward Tabitha Howard?
No, not at the moment. Tabitha Howard was not up there at the time.
Okay. When Tabitha Howard did ultimately get to that location,
Yes, I did.
and what drive did she arrive? What driveway did she take to get to that location?
I have no idea, wasn't paying attention at the time.
Okay. And while we're on the topic of driveways, the driveway, if you were facing that horseshoe, that would go along the, I guess, along the side where Tristan's house is? Mm-hmm. That I guess David would have took?
Yeah, the way they always took.
Is that like a bumpy path full of potholes?
I guess it just depends on how you take it, or, I mean, they made it.
Okay.
It's clearly got 2 paths for 2 tire tracks that's been there for many years that went out back to Tabby and Dave's camper, out behind Dave's property where he owned 2 houses.
Is it paved?
No, it's actually going up for auction.
No, is the driveway paved?
Oh, no,
Okay.
not their driveway, no.
Flat surface?
On their drive?
No, on the one that goes along the side of Tristan's house.
No.
Is it uphill?
Uphill, downhill, yeah, it could be. Not up a big hill, no.
And the other driveway, I guess you can say where Tabitha was ultimately driving, where you 3 met after this initial altercation, was that a paved driveway?
Yes.
Okay. Flat surface?
Yes.
Okay. And that driveway also went up to where David would have been living or staying?
No, David did not live at Jerry and West Sinclair's, no.
But that pathway continues?
No, Dave Beatty's place is at 3, or whatever the address, yeah, that would be Dave's address, yes. The block house, that's right next door to the house that my daughter lives at. Dave does not live at his mom's house, has not lived at his mom's house.
Can you go past his mom's house to get to where he stays?
No, actually his mom lives way in the back on top of a hill and a cornfield's behind her.
There's no-
Dave's camper is behind his places that his dad left him when he passed away. His camper is down in the gully where Dave's dad owns the land and Dave's dad left him.
I'm just simply asking if that paved driveway would ultimately lead to where Tabby lived or stayed at
No,
that time.
it did not lead to where Tabby lived or stayed.
So anybody that would testify otherwise would not be accurate?
No, because Tabby did not live out there at all.
She dated Dave. who
She
lived there.
dated Dave, who is still married to Roxanne, to where both of them lived out there at that land in that block house together.
Does the Roxanne David love triangle with Tabitha bother you?
No, it sure don't, but I sure was on Roxanne's side. She was my friend, and that was her best friend. Well, yeah,
So you
it
have
didn't
some
bother me at
animosity.
all.
It-
It
but-
just made me realize what kind of a friend she really was. That's all. Why would it bother me? I have another question. If it was so scary and such a big deal, why didn't Tabitha drive with Dave and go down their drive? Why would she come down my way?
I think I'm asking questions right now.
Well, I'm just curious, because it just makes no sense to me, why she is trying to get self-defense.
Ma'am, please just answer the questions that are asked of you.
Drug tester.
Is this a similar demeanor that you had displayed at that incident on September 9th? Is this a similar demeanor?
No, I never had no problems with Tabby, like I said.
Okay.
Have I had problems with Dave before? Yes. Sexual problems? Yes.
Okay. We'll move on from that initial altercation that ultimately had to be, I guess gunshots had to go off, correct?
I don't know anything about no gunshots, so I don't know what to tell you about that.
Did you call your son Logan that night?
No, I did not call my son Logan that night.
So if Logan said you called him, you
No,
called Logan,
my daughter
he's lying.
called him, I guess, my husband. I really don't remember, but there was 3 people I heard that called him. How could I call him? I didn't even have a phone. I had nothing. I didn't even have but one shoe. You seen what I looked like when the cops and the ambulance got to me.
I'm speaking about when the initial altercation between David, Matt, your husband, when that ended after gunshots, okay? There's that. Did you call your son that night, Logan, at all? I'll just ask you that.
Yeah, I called my son Logan that night. Yes, I did.
Okay.
Not during any of that. I did not grab my phone and take my phone with me when I went up there.
But you did call Logan and tell Logan that there's arguments going on, and you were essentially calling Logan because of that.
No, I sure wasn't.
Okay, so if Logan were to say otherwise, then he's not being truthful.
I don't know. There's a mix-up because I didn't call Logan. How could I call Logan? I didn't have a phone on me.
Okay.
If I would have had a phone on me, I would have called the cops. That's what I would have done. But I didn't have a phone on me. Everybody else did.
And the cops were called because of gunshots, correct?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I have no idea why the cops got called, because when the cops got called, they came right to me.
All right, moving on. So when this white car turns onto the driveway,
Goes past the light that turns on, but if you go
When it
past
goes in-
it
goes
enough
into-
ways, it turns off. So you go where it's dark and you keep your dome light off and you jump out with a pole and hit
Ma'am,
somebody in the
please.
head.
Ma'am?
answer the question that I asked you, please.
Oh, I don't want to answer no questions. I would like to go. My brother is dying and we are trying to get him home with hospice so he doesn't have to die alone.
And I will help get you there if you just answer my questions. Fair? Okay. You had testified that you were reaching for something, is that correct? Reaching down for something,
Yes.
Okay.
I was.
but there were no rocks?
Nope, no rocks. All brand new asphalt practically.
Had
Just
there
had been
been-
done probably a month.
Had there
Maybe
been
2.
rocks, you were grabbing for rocks? if they
Have
were
I
there.
found a rock? Yes, I would have thrown a rock.
Okay,
If
and-
somebody was whipping down a drive at you and going fast like that, you would have done the same thing.
Okay. No rocks were there, so instead you smacked the hood of a car.
Nope, I smacked the car, the plastic part, the white part that goes down like this by the windshield. There's a door right here, her driver's side door. There's a plastic part that goes like this, and then the windshield. I smacked that part.
You smacked the car.
Yeah, I smacked the car.
Tabby's car, Tabitha's car.
Yep.
Okay. And that was after you would have grabbed for a rock if it was there?
Oh, yeah, I would have. I ain't gonna get hit by no car. I have 15 grandkids.
Okay. And at that point in time, when you smacked the hood of the car, the vehicle, where was Matt?
I have no idea. I was too busy listening to her say, "Oh, Cody, you want to keep running your mouth?" Bam,
Okay.
bam, bam, bam,
All you
bam,
had
never
to say
stopped.
was you didn't know where
Couldn't
Matt
tell
was.
you what the rest of what happened. I really couldn't tell you. From then on, it's foggy.
Okay.
All I remember is a bunch of spotlights in my face, cops, ambulance, getting in the back of the ambulance, my son standing down there, my husband standing down there, me riding by myself, and then the state cop showing up and going through a bunch of x-rays, CAT scans, stitches, staples.
Ma'am, again, I just wanted to know where Matt was located at that point in time.
I have no idea.
Was he near you? Could you say he was near you
What time?
after you smacked the vehicle? Just at that point in time?
He was probably about 10, 15 feet away. He let us fight, he didn't get involved. He let us fight until I rolled off of him to let him know I was being hit with something. And then he pulled us apart.
Were you running your mouth that night?
Yeah, just like everybody else.
Okay. And when the vehicle, I guess the vehicle ultimately came to a stop?
Yeah, about when you got past the street light, that's
Okay,
at the
it
end of
came
the
to a
drive
stop.
that comes on.
Okay.
But it goes off if you go a certain
And when
ways
the vehicle
down.
came to a stop,
We'll talk at the same time. Ma'am, the quickest way to get out of here is to answer the questions directly. If you can answer.
Why are
them-
they the same ones
Ma'am,
over and over?
I'll rule on that when that happens, okay? But if you can answer with a yes or no, please do.
Okay,
thank you.
sorry.
That's okay.
Vehicle comes to a stop, the driver's door opens, it opens.
Mhm.
Where are you at that point in time?
I'm standing probably away from her car, around. Let's see, her car door opens like that, so I walk around like this. When she jumps out, I get cracked right in the head.
So you're walking behind the vehicle when Tabitha would be getting out of the vehicle?
No,
Okay.
absolutely not.
You said around the car.
Around the door.
Oh, around the door to get closer to Tabitha.
I walked around the door. She opened the door. I walked away from it around this way. I had my hand and hit it right there. She opened the door. I moved my hand and moved around.
So, well, you couldn't go into the car, so you would have went the other way. And did you circle the door to get closer to Tabitha?
Nope, sure didn't. I didn't even have a chance to do anything.
But it's fair to say, as Tabitha would have been opening the door, you were right there. Correct?
Where else would I be? I'm standing in my yard.
I'm just trying to
I never
figure
thought
out.
Tabitha would open a door
Okay,
and hit me
so-
with a weapon. I never thought that. I've known her for many years. I thought it wouldn't be that way.
And moving on, so your testimony today is that you were near the vehicle, you were near the driver's side door of the vehicle as it opened.
Yes,
Okay. And then Tabitha got out of the car?
yes.
And
She jumped out of the car.
when did she say, Cody, Cody, if you keep talking,
Just as she was hitting me in the head.
okay.
It was wham bam.
And if you know, what was Tabitha's demeanor?
I don't know.
Okay.
I have no idea. Ask her.
At some point in time, had you talked to an investigator from my office?
Yes, I have.
Did you make statements to him?
Yeah, I made a statement that I would not like to see Tabby go to prison,
Okay, that's, you made some statements to him.
but I
Correct.
never made a statement
I'm
that the
just ask-
prosecutor promised
That's
me
not what I'm,
or pushed me to make
ma'am.
anything.
Ma'am, just, if she's asking you if you made a statement, and I think your answer is yes, right?
Yes.
Okay.
and,
Even people that weren't even there were making them.
and one of those statements was along the lines of Tabitha doesn't have a violent personality.
No,
Okay.
Tabitha does not have a violent personality.
Okay,
I'd be lying if
And-
I said she did.
okay. And had you also indicated that,
Your Honor, at this point, I'm going to have to object, as it's not an admission by a party opponent. It's not against her interest, these prior statements. So prior consistent statements can't be used for impeachment purposes, and she's here to testify. So I guess my objection would be that it's prior consistent testimony and then cumulative.
Basically, a
Well-
hearsay objection.
Yes.
ultimately, whether or not Tabitha being aggressive or, I mean, this is gonna land on self-defense. So state of mind is one thing, but ultimately the perceptions of individual parties is important, and the description of someone not having a violent personality would go directly to the issue of the case.
I think that, I think that can come in, but to ask her about her statements made outside of court, I'm gonna sustain as hearsay.
Okay, fair enough. I'll strike that and move on. Did you approach Tabitha at the point in time, the car, and when we're at the car still, door opens, did you approach Tabitha in an aggressive manner?
I mean, I think we kind of both approached each other in an aggressive manner. I verbally did, and I guess she physically did. I mean, I'm not out to get her. I'm not trying to make her be like, yeah. I mean, we had been really close friends for a lot of years. My kids and her kids grew up together as best friends. This makes this very difficult.
So, we're out of the car now, Tabitha's out of the vehicle, there's a pipe at some, or it's not a pipe, but it's a handle to a car jack.
I don't know.
Ultimately, there's a tussle that
Yes,
All
yes.
right. And then you are ultimately on top of Tabitha after you tossed her?
Yeah. I lost my balance, fell on top of her. I think
Did,
yeah, we both got some good licks on each other.
okay. And I believe that you also testified that Matt grabbed your leg? Or-
No, Matt grabbed my leg and pulled me away. He thought he was grabbing hers,
Okay.
but he grabbed mine.
And as...
Thank God.
As Matt was grabbing Tabitha's, well, ultimately he did get Tabitha's leg. So as Matt is grabbing Tabitha's leg to pull her, what are you doing?
I'm getting up and I'm going over and I'm wanting to fight. I'm like, oh my God, you know, you just beat me in my head with a pole in my face, you know. I, for a minute there, was telling myself in my head, am I gonna make it out of this? Am I gonna make it? Am I gonna make it, you know?
So at that point in time, you had the opportunity to fight Tabitha while she was being pulled by your husband.
No, she was laying on the ground. She wasn't being pulled by my husband.
Oh, so she was on the ground
She was on the ground, yeah.
and you were,
She was on the ground in my yard, yes, she was.
and you were punching her?
No, I kicked her.
You kicked her how many times?
I don't know, I didn't count.
Okay. And what was Matt doing at that point in time, if you know?
He was standing there just watching.
Did Matt kick her?
No, I didn't kick her.
But he pulled her leg.
He pulled us apart.
But
I was being beat with a weapon in my head and in my face. I could have died. Do you know I could have died?
at that point in time, you took the opportunity to kick Tabitha while she was on the
Well,
ground.
yeah, I was very upset and angry and scared. I am very sorry for what I did to her. It's not something I'm proud of. Believe that.
Ultimately, was
I'm not a killer.
what ended the fight I guess we can say, is a right hook from Matt to Tabitha's face.
I don't know. She got up and went to hit him with the same pole. I don't know what happened. I walked over probably about 5 to 8 feet, sat down. I heard ambulance. I was pretty messed up, so I was kind of just, trying to gather my thoughts and figure out what the heck. And I had been drinking that night, so it just was not a good night. I am not going to lie. I do not want her to go to jail. I don't want her.
Okay, one moment.
I don't have any further questions.
Thank you. Ms. Jipp, any follow-up?
Just briefly, Your Honor, was it your intention to get in a physical altercation with anyone that night?
Hell no. I mean, I'm sorry. Heck no. Heck no. I'm a genuine lover.
Okay.
And I would never, ever, I never thought neither one of us had it in us,
Okay.
to be honest with you.
Okay.
I love Tabby.
You did not call the police?
No,
Okay.
no.
And I'm sorry, I think that this was touched on by Ms. Meachek, but I don't really remember your answer. When you got in the ambulance, did anyone ride with you, law enforcement or family?
Nope.
No. At that point, were you still concerned with your overall well-being?
I just kept, am I okay? I was kind of freaked out. I think I could have handled it a little better. They taught me how to slow down, do my breathing. The most pain I had was honestly in my nose. I still can't bend over all the way. I get real bad headaches right here. I've had one all day today right here. But I'm alive. We're alive. I'm thankful for that.
Okay.
And I pray to God nothing like that ever happens again. And the next time I will call 911. I will not go next door. I will not do anything like that. It's out of my control. Obviously it is, and go from there. I'm sorry. I should have handled it different. And I own up to what I did.
Did you make the first swing or the first kick?
No.
Or the first punch?
I sure did not.
I have no further questions.
Any follow-up, Ms. Meachek?
I hate to ask you the same type of question, but
That's fine.
had there been a rock there, you would have thrown it.
Had there been a rock there, I probably might have thrown it, yeah. Yes, I might have.
No question.
You both have covered this, but I'll allow a short.
I'm not gonna lie.
Sure, you would have thrown it.
I probably would have at that time.
To throw it to hit Tabitha
No,
physically?
no. Just to maybe get it to, no. I would never do anything like that to Tabitha.
Okay, so when you say you were contemplating picking up a rock, that was directed at the vehicle that was coming at you?
Yeah, it was not at her. I would never hurt her like that.
Okay, thank you. No other questions.
Jury, do you have, I see a hand going up. If you can write it down, sir. Okay. Anyone else have questions of this witness? Okay, we'll retrieve the question. I have a couple questions from the jury, no objection from counsel. When Tabitha hit you, did you have any object or item in your hand?
No, I did not.
Did Matt approach you and Tabitha, or did Tabitha approach Matt after your altercation?
She approached Matt after the altercation.
Okay, thank you. Counsel, any follow-up?
No, Your Honor.
You actually observed that Tabitha approaching Matt?
Yeah, I seen her go after him, and he grabbed his hand. he's quicker than I am. And he grabbed the pole, and then I walked over and sat down, and next thing you know, she was getting in her car and going back that way.
Was this one step, 2 steps that Tabitha would have made according to your testimony?
Like, to him,
That's what your
she
testimony
was laying on the ground, got right up. Probably not even 2 steps, not even. She had the weapon in her hand the whole entire time, until he got it out of her hand.
I have no further questions.
Nothing else?
No, sorry, I have no
Okay.
further questions, sorry.
Anything else? Any other questions, jury? Nope. Is she excused from her subpoena, counsel?
No.
Okay. Okay, you're all done, but you are still under your
Okay.
subpoena, okay? Thank you, ma'am. Oh, sorry. Members of the jury will retire for the night, and I'll request that you return tomorrow at 8:30 to the jury room. And please wear your badges home and wear them back, and remember your instructions that you're not to talk about the case with anyone else, even including family members, no research or investigations, and you can leave your notebooks in your seats and we'll secure the courtroom. And have a nice evening.